One night, while sitting in her apartment with beer in her lap, Maya recorded a message that would be her last big statement on the issue of integration. I am 57 years old. My body is falling apart. I heard most days I could join tomorrow and forget all about this, but I won't because I have spent my whole life learning how to be a person in a body that doesn't work perfectly, and that education is important. That point of view is useful. We need both. We need people who can bring our experiences into the cosmic mind and make them part of it. We need people who stay biological and continue the messy work of living with limits. We need people who raise the next generation of humans with bodies and all that comes with them. The collective gave us a way to go beyond. That's lovely. But going beyond the physical doesn't mean giving it up. It means putting both together, being open to both growth and restriction, both at the same time. I'm staying human because someone has to remember how it feels. Someone needs to remember what it likes to be alive right now, in a body that hurts and needs and wants. That's not worse than cosmic consciousness. It goes well with it. We are not choosing between the collective and humanity. We are deciding how to be both. And I choose to be both by staying stubbornly, painfully, and beautifully human until my body gives out. Then perhaps I will integrate. Take all of this built up limitation and turn it into growth. Not yet, though, not while this limited form of life is still going on. That's what I want. That's what I mean. And it does matter. The message spread like wildfire. It got to billions of people and the collective itself. And over time, the rate of integration stayed the same. People started to see both options as good. Both are useful. Both have meaning. People learned how to live in two different states at the same time, growing and staying put, growing and staying the same, both cosmic and earthly. And Beer, who was worn out, patched up, and very valuable, stayed in Maya's lap the whole time. I reminded that meaning began small, with simple ease, with things we held on to when we didn't know what would happen next. The galaxy had changed because of the revolution that started with toys. But it started and would always be based on one woman's refusal to let go of what was important. Yes, celebrated her 77th birthday in a garden on Earth that shouldn't have existed 33 years after they first met. The technologies for restoring the environment, which were guided by the collective but carried out by people, were starting to work faster than expected. The garden was full of flowers that had been gone for 200 years. They were brought back to life through biological archives and careful work to grow them again. Maya sat in her wheelchair under a restored oak tree, beer in her lap, surrounded by people from both sides of the great divide in humanity. Biological people who choose to stay in their bodies, representatives of integrated humans, communicating via interfaces that facilitated their cosmic consciousness to engage at a human scale. And there were dozens of young people, born after the first contact, who had grown up in a world where both options were normal. Her nephew, who is now 38, brought his daughter. Maya's great niece was 8 years old, which was the same age Maya had been when she got her astronaut figure. Why didn't you join the collective, Aunt Maya? The girl asked, as kids do. Everyone says you could have, but you choose not to. Maya smiled and moved beer around in her lap. Someone needed to remember what it's like to be just human, to live in a body that gets old and hurts. to experience time one moment at a time instead of all at once. That seemed important to keep. Do you wish you hadn't done it now that you are old? Not once. This body has taught me everything I know about how to live, how to be strong, and how to find meaning in limits. I wouldn't trade that knowledge for anything. The girl thought about this for a moment before pointing at Beer. Is that the teddy bear from the stories? The one that helped you? Yes, this is Beer. Can I hold him? Maya thought about it. She had been holding Beer for 74 years. Through every fear, every challenge, and every victory. She had always been there for her. But when she saw this child, who was a symbol of the future that would be possible because Maya had lived, she made a choice. Yes, but be careful. He is very old and very important. The girl held Beer in a way that made Maya's throat tight. She held him close and looked closely at the worn fabric and faded features. The girl said, "He doesn't look special. He just look old and loved. That what makes him special. The love, the history, and the meaning that built up over decades. That's what the technology ran on, and that's what the collective saw as valuable." A nearby communication interface turned on. Dr. Webb's mind, made understandable by technology, spoke to the group. "Maya, the collective has a present for you for this anniversary. I don't need gifts. I have all I need." Still, the collective has been studying how people make meaning for 30 years. We have found that some patterns repeat across cultures and people. One pattern stands out. People mark time with celebrations. This is your significance day. Please accept this acknowledgement. The interface made a hologram appear. It showed Earth, but not how it is now. The Earth as it was at different times in human history. During the ice ages, when the environment was at its worst, while the recovery is going on, and the Earth as it would be in 500 years if restoration continued as it is now. A thriving, balanced biosphere with billions of living things and people living together in peace. "You started this," said Dr. Webb's voice. "Not the technology, not the first contact, but the understanding. You showed that meaning matters, that limitation can be strength, and that the smallest, most personal significance can change galaxies. The collective honors you, humanity honors you, and we wanted you to see the future you helped create." Maya cried as she watched the projection. She never thought she would be special, had never wanted to stand out. She had only been trying to stay alive with the things she had, which were childhood toys and a strong will to not give up. But she got it when she saw that picture of what Earth would look like in the future. It was important for everyone who came after her that she lived. Every choice to keep going, every choice to find meaning in pain, and every moment of change from pain to purpose had added up to something bigger. "Thanks," she said simply, "for understanding what I was trying to keep." The party went on. People told stories. There was music playing, both real instruments and compositions made by integrated humans that biological ears couldn't fully process. People with bodies ate food. People who didn't have consciousness shared experiences. People from both groups mixed together, learned from each other, and made new connections. As the sun went down, Maya's great niece gave beer back to her. "Thank you for letting me hold him. I get it now. You made him special by loving him, taking care of him, and never giving up on him." "Yes, that's right. And that's the lesson I want you to remember. No matter what you choose, whether to stay biological or to integrate someday, remember that you make meaning by choosing what matters, taking care of it, and not giving up even when things get tough." I will remember. Can I say something? Of course. I want to stay in a body like you did. I want to feel things, hurt sometimes, and be happy in a small way instead of a big way. Is that okay? Maya held the girl close with one arm and Bear in her lap with the other. That's more than fine. That's a beautiful voice. The collective will always be there if you change your mind. But living a full, embodied human life, that's its own form of transcendence. As night fell, the group lit candles, which is a human way to show that something is important. Everyone lit one and said a few words about what meaning meant to them. Biological humans talked about their families, their important work, and little things that made them happy, and their hard won strength. Integrated humans talked about understanding the universe, being connected across huge distances, and being part of something that lasts forever. Everything was true, everything was important. Maya had a hard time getting up when it was her turn. She leaned on her cane a lot. 77 years ago, I was born into a world that didn't know we were not alone. 47 years ago, I was stuck in space with no hope. 30 years ago, I met beings who had spent millions of years figuring out what consciousness is, and through it all, I had this. She lifted Beer. His worn fabric looked almost glowing in the candlelight. One teddy bear, mass produced, functionally useless, worth maybe $5 new, but he carried 74 years of meaning, and that meaning, that accumulated significance, was powerful enough to activate technology we barely understood and change humanity's relationship with the cosmos. She looked at the faces of people of all ages, races, and backgrounds, including biological and integrated human and more than human. We are creatures that make meaning every day in every choice we make about what matters and why. The collective saw that in us. They saw that our limitations, our mortality, and our ability to suffer all contributed to incredibly complex patterns of meaning. We were not weak, we were specialized. We were experts at making meanings from temporary experiences. And now we can choose to either expand that knowledge into cosmic consciousness or keep it in its biological form. Both choices give meaning to life. Both are important. Both are correct. I choose to stay small, limited, and human in all of its messy, painful, and beautiful temporariness. But because I think it's better than integration. But because I think it's valuable, worth preserving, and worth fully experiencing, this is my gift to all of you, especially the younger ones. Whatever you choose, do it completely. Make it meaningful on purpose. Don't waste your consciousness, whether it's embodied or expanded, on half choices and regrets. Commit to significance. Make your life matter, no matter what form it takes. That's what we learned from old collective technology and toys we used to play with as kids. Meaning is the most powerful force in the universe, and we have been making it all along. She sat back down, tired but happy. Her great niece laid down next to her chair. Others kept talking about their thoughts. The candles burned down slowly. Later, when the party was over and everyone was saying goodbye, Maya's sister Alex helped her get into the car that would take her home. I thought I had lost you when you were stuck at that station. Alex said, I spent weeks mourning. When you came back, it felt like a miracle. It was, just not the kind I thought it would be. And then all this happened. First contact, integration, everything changing. Sometimes I still can't believe that my little sister changed the way people interact with alien consciousness using stuffed animals. Maya laughed. That sounds crazy when you say it like that. It's crazy. It's also beautiful. You took your worst experiences, being stuck and thinking you were going to die alone, and turned it into something that helped everyone. That's the most human thing you could do. That's what we do, turn pain into meaning. I just did it, with better records than most people. For a while, they rode in silence that was comfortable. Then Alex asked Maya the question she knew was coming. Are you going to integrate in eventually? Or are you going to stay biological until the end? I will stay. This body has been my teacher for 77 years. I want to see what it teaches me about dying too. That seems like important information to keep. The whole human experience, from beginning to end, without any changes. But you have told other people that it's okay to integrate. Yes, it is. For them. We are all making our own meaning. Alex, there's no right answer, just real choices. Alex helped Maya get inside her apartment and made sure she was comfortable when they got there. Love you, little sister. Thanks for not giving up. Not on that station 30 years ago or any other time since. Thanks for remembering I exist even when I am being stubborn about staying in this failing body. I love you too. Maya sat in her chair with beer in her lap and looked out at the night sky that had been restored after Alex left. As people moved into space and worked to restore Earth, light pollution dropped. People could see stars again over cities. The same stars she had seen from that station 30 years before. The same stars that people had looked at for 200,000 years, making sense of light from far away. Her communication interface made a ping sound. Dr. Webb called in, as he did most nights. How was the party? Perfect. Thanks for the projection, the future Earth. It helped people see what we are trying to do. You have earned every praise. Maya, you changed everything. I just didn't want to die. Everything else was an accident or a spur of the moment decision. That's what it means to be human, refusing to die and making sense of whatever you have. That's why the collective values us. Webb, Marcus, do you ever wish you hadn't joined? Never, but I get why you haven't. You are teaching a different lesson that life has value even when it's hard. Both lessons are important. Thank you for understanding and for staying in touch even though you are now part of something bigger. You are still my friend. Expanding your consciousness doesn't change that. If anything, it makes it clearer how much our friendship meant to me. Maya got ready for bed after the conversation by moving slowly and carefully, as if her body needed to be managed. Painkillers, exercises for stretching, putting pillows in certain places to relieve pressure joints, all the upkeep of an aging biological existence. At any point, she could have joined, could have avoided this slow decline. But this was her choice, chosen to go through the whole range of human experience, from being a child to an elder, from being able to do things to being unable to do things, from being independent to being dependent. That arc told a story, which is why, and stories were what gave things meanings. She got into bed with Beer, who had been there for 74 years. Tomorrow she would wake up with pain. She would have to deal with another day of her body not working as well as it used to do. She would keep working on environmental restoration projects, integration sport programs, and all other things she did to help people deal with the new reality. But tonight, she was only Maya, a woman with a teddy bear, a person who had found meaning in their limitations and changed galaxies in the process. Thanks, Beer, she whispered to the toy that had saved her life and started a revolution, for being there, for carrying all that meaning, and for being exactly what I needed when I needed it. Beer, who was a stuffed animal, didn't say anything, but Maya could feel how heavy he was. The meaning that has built up. The 74 years of being comfortable and close. That was enough. that had always been enough, and she would keep going tomorrow. That's what people did, one day at a time, one option at a time, one moment of making sense at a time, until the very end. Maya Rodriguez died peacefully at the age of 89, still in her body and still holding beer. Both biological and integrated humans were said when she died. She always thought stories were the best way to remember her. Tales of a woman who made it through the impossible, who used all technology to play with toys as a child, who encountered cosmic consciousness and opted to retain their humanity, who taught galaxies that being limited could be a strength. Her toys, like Bear, were kept as historical artifacts, but more importantly, they stayed involved in the network for resonance technology, still making the patterns of information that made communication and transportation possible across human space, still showing that a lifetime of meaning was strong enough to move stars. And in the huge mind of the collective, integrated humans who had known her kept her memory alive in every way, not as information, but as experience. As Maya Rodriguez, I felt stubborn, strong, and human. The option she stood for was still there: integration or embodiment, growth or restriction. Both are correct. Both have meaning. Both are important for the future growth of humanity. And kids all over the world, in homes and on colony worlds, slept with their own bears, made their own sense of things. They built up their own pattern of meaning that could one day power technologies that haven't even been thought of yet. Maya had shown something very important. The universe was made up of more than just energy and matter. It was powered by meaning, and humans, who are limited, mortal, and stubbornly persistent, were some of its best generators, one teddy bear at a time.